let's be clear. This isn't just some old story of sibling rivalry. No, this is a full-on shonen-style epic. We're talking about betrayal, divine judgment, and a brutal final war that stretches across generations. Today, we're diving deep into the consequence arc, a story where every single action has a powerful and, often violent reaction. So, this is where we're headed. This vow of total war, spoken by Esau's own sons, is the explosive climax of a story that started decades earlier. This isn't just talk, it's a promise of annihilation, and it's fueled by a hatred that has been simmering for a long, long time. All right, so it all kicks off with a 17-year-old kid named Joseph. He's the favorite son. He's having these divine visions, and to his older brothers, he's a serious threat. His very existence feels like an insult, and it's setting the stage for a betrayal that is going to shatter their entire world. And things escalate, shockingly fast. Joseph's dreams about his family bowing down to him, to his brothers, that's not just some youthful pride. It is a direct challenge to the way things are supposed to be. So when they see him coming from a distance, their first thought isn't to talk. It's to get rid of him. They strip him of that famous coat and toss him into a pit that, get this, the book of Jasher says was crawling with serpents and scorpions, which makes God's move to hide the creatures all the more incredible. You can just feel the desperation in Joseph's voice here. He isn't just crying out, he's pleading with them by name, reminding them that they're family. But their response? It's just chilling. They literally walk away from the pit so they don't have to hear his voice. The cruelty is just absolute. So the plan shifts from murder to money. Judah steps in and convinces them that selling Joseph is way more profitable than killing him. So they pull him out of the pit for 20 pieces of silver. And in one final, twisted act, they take that famous coat, kill a goat, and soak the whole thing in its blood. This blood-stained coat becomes the centerpiece of their lie, the fake proof that will absolutely shatter their father's heart. But Joseph's betrayal is really only the beginning of his ordeal. Now he's a slave, and his journey to Egypt becomes this trial by fire, defined by just the sheer, callous cruelty of his captors, and, on the flip side, the stunning, direct intervention of God. This slide just captures the brutal reality of his new life. Joseph, completely heartbroken, is weeping for the family he's lost, but his Ishmaelite captors, they don't see grief, they see an annoyance that needs to be beaten out of him. So they strike him and they force him to walk, basically punishing him for being sad. Yeah, well, this abuse does not go unnoticed. According to the book of Jasher, God strikes back twice. First, he hits the men with darkness and withers the very hands that struck Joseph. But they don't learn their lesson. When they hit him again, God unleashes this terrifying storm, with thunder and lightning so powerful, it literally stops them in their tracks. And this is the moment it finally clicks for them. It's this terrifying realization. All these plagues are happening because of Joseph. The mark on Joseph's face from their abuse stands in stark contrast to their own withered hands. They're terrified. They start begging him to pray to his God for them. And once the plagues stop, you better believe they sell him off to Potiphar in Egypt as fast as they possibly can. Okay, so while all this is happening to Joseph, the original family conflict, the one that started all this trouble, is hitting its own boiling point back in Canaan. The whole rivalry between the twins, Jacob and Esau, is about to get a final, desperate intervention from their dying parents. And look at how this goes down. This is a highly structured, almost legal attempt to heal a wound that's been festering their whole lives. Rebecca, on her deathbed, forces sacred oaths from both her sons. Then a year later, their father, Isaac, does the exact same thing, commanding them to live in peace. It's this fragile truce, sworn on the graves of their parents, a last-ditch hope for reconciliation. But even here, in this moment that's supposed to be about making peace, a shadow of the future conflict looms large. Isaac embraces his grandchildren, and he blesses Jacob's sons with prosperity and growth. But his blessing for Esau's sons? Wow, it is chillingly different. He prays that God would make them a dread and a terror. These words, spoken at a time of supposed peace, are just a dark prophecy of the violence that's still to come. So how long did that deathbed peace treaty last? I'll tell you. Exactly as long as Isaac was alive. The moment he's buried, the rage from Esau's sons over the inheritance just boils over, and they convince their father to break his sacred vow and unleash a generation's worth of pure hatred. So you gotta ask, right? Did the deathbed oaths actually hold? Did this family finally find a way to heal and forge a new path of brotherhood? Was this the beginning of a generation of peace? No, absolutely not. Esau, pushed on by his sons and his own decades-old grudge, completely forgets the promises he made to his dying parents. He goes out and hires a massive mercenary army, 4,000 strong, with one single mission: to utterly destroy Jacob and his entire family. And get this, look at who he hired. This isn't just his own people. He pays for 1,000 elite warriors, each from Aram, Moab, Ammon, and Philistia. This isn't a family squabble anymore. This is a full-blown regional war, orchestrated by one brother against the other. When Jacob pleads for peace from inside his fortified tower, Esau's response is just a masterpiece of pure, unfiltered hatred. He says he'll only consider making peace when the laws of nature themselves are broken, when a boar grows wool, when a raven turns white. The message couldn't be clearer. There will be no peace. Not now, not ever. So this is it, the final confrontation. The oaths are broken, the armies are gathered, and the time for words is long gone. Decades of rivalry, of simmering hatred, are about to be settled in one single, violent moment. These last moments unfold with the speed of an action scene. Esau's murderous intent is obvious, so Jacob prepares for war. But then, in this wild turn of events, his own son Judah commands him, "Bend thy bow, father," insisting that it has to be Jacob who delivers the final blow. Jacob accepts this fate, he draws his bow, and at the same time, his sons get ready for a massive four-pronged counterattack. Everything comes down to this: an entire family's history, a nation's future, all of it riding on the flight of a single arrow. And the end is swift and brutal. Jacob's arrow flies true, hitting Esau in the chest, killing him instantly. With the adversary down, Jacob immediately takes out the enemy commander. That's the signal. His sons pour out of the tower and just decimate the invading armies. Thousands are killed, the rest run, and the Edomites are forced into servitude. And just like that, the war is over. In the end, it's Jacob himself who buries his brother on a nearby hill. So a single shot ended the battle. But this whole saga is about consequences that ripple through time. Jacob won the day for sure, but the bad blood between his descendants and Esau's, that would go on for centuries. A brother's death ended the war, but it couldn't erase the generations of hate that had been sown. The consequence arc was far, far from over.